Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with a retro review for you tonight. I wanted to get one more retro review in before the end of the year, before I broke down and did my big massiveness, with my baby's blanket, did my big massiveness of my year-end videos. I'm going to do probably another 6 of them like I did last year, breaking down the 6 main categories. I was also thinking about maybe doing a top 5 best films of the decade list too after that, after New Year's. I haven't decided for sure. Something on my screen, and it's just going to drive me crazy, isn't it? Alright. Nope. Alright. It's like a hair on my screen. Sorry. Anyhow, today's film is something that you've most likely never even heard of. A movie called Popcorn, released in February of 1991, back when Home Alone was still just slaying ass at the theaters, despite being out for over 3 fucking months. Popcorn is directed by Mark Harrier and stars Jill Sholin, Ray Walston, Tony Roberts, Tom Villard, and the great Scream Queen herself, Dee Wallace, who's, in my opinion, behind Jamie Lee Curtis, has to be the most recognizable Scream Queen, at least of her era. The whole setup here is a bunch of film students are going to try to have a horror festival, and a real psycho shows up for the show. This is, like I said, pretty much an unforgotten film. It debuted with a dismal $2 million opening weekend and barely did double that at the worldwide box office. This film, it's easy to say, there's no way it helped anyone involved's career. But you can kind of, I theorize people like Leo L., James Wan, Kevin Williamson, the kid who wrote, these guys are old enough to be my dad, but the guy who wrote Scream, I would suspect, or would not, at least not be surprised to find out these kind of horror influencers were inspired by this film. Because, let me tell you something, it is a fucking gem. So, let's get into it. Let's run through the whole fucking story. And like I said, it's a bit of a lost movie, and I've never really said this in my retro reviews before, but of course I'm going through the whole story here. So if you've never seen Popcorn, don't watch my video. Go watch Popcorn. It's available for free on YouTube. It's not the finest quality, but it's there, and it's free. So yeah, if you haven't seen Popcorn, go see Popcorn. Check it out before you watch my video. And then watch my video. Anyhow, we start off with dreams. Dreams of a man chanting bizarre things, talking to a little girl named Sarah. When we wake up from the dream, it's our main girl, her name is Maggie. Now, she is a film student, and she thinks these bizarre psychedelic dreams are just her own imagination, and she's just using this to develop her film project. Where at the same time, unbeknownst to her house has been getting some creepy phone calls, but her mom, Dee Wallace, hasn't told her about them. At school, in her film class, I should say, her teacher, Tony Roberts, has proposed that they're going to do a one-night horror festival, cashing in on doing a throwback of the whole gimmick screening things. Now this is where you get. Now this film is really a love letter, and kind of a time capsule at the same time to the boomer age of horror films, going from William Castle's gimmicky screenings to atomic scare shit, to Andy Warhol's pretentiousness in the 70s, to the midnight, or the 60s I should say, to the midnight madness screenings in the 70s, and finally, of course, to your slashers, what this film is. Now, the big thing is they're going to show 3 films. The Mosquito, which whole gimmick is going to be kind of 3D, but they're going to have a physical mosquito that's going to fly, that they're going to have to on wires with a remote control flying around the house, scaring people. They're going to be the Amazing Electrified Man, which is going to shock people. in their chairs. They had like shocker buttons in the chair, and there's finally going to be the stench, which is going to where they're going to release actual foul aromas into the movie theater. The whole thing is really just to kind of solidify their department and to raise money for the school and for the the department, the film school studies. So they get this some props and a pep talk from Ray Walston, my favorite Martian and yours. He's one of those actors. He only has the one scene, but I'll be damned if he doesn't do everything he can to steal this film in his one scene. So they renovate the theater, and they're getting ready for their big festival. Pile of my kids' toys just fell over. Anyhow, that night, Maggie's mother gets a phone call from the harassing guy again. She clearly knows who this guy is, by the way, or suspicious of him. The guy tells her to meet him down at the movie theater that the kids renovated. At which point he attacks her and carries her off. We don't see her until much later, but we're gonna find out what's going on there. It is showtime. Showtime at the movies. And at the movies, we find out a few things. While they're going through the old guy stuff, they found a reel of this really, really creepy shit that is identical to the kind of dreams that Maggie has been having. What does that have to do with? After researching it, the professor tells the kids that it was a film called Possessor, directed by a guy named Lanyard Gates, who is actually a cult leader who died in a fire. This film was never actually released because he wanted to perform the ending of the film live on stage, which was going to be the human sacrifice of his wife and daughter. But he was prevented. Now we get the screen time, and while they get the screen time, we get a couple of people who weren't expecting to be there. Maggie's bumbling boyfriend, who brings another girl. He's an absolute idiot and kind of a douchebag. And someone who appears to be Lanyard Gates. But he's dead, isn't he? Anyhow, the movie starts off, and right away, during the first film, Mosquito, something goes wrong with remote control, and backstage, somebody has hacked in and overtaken the remote control of their own, and after the Mosquito does his whole routine in the house, comes back and impales the professor, killing him dead. So right off the bat, we know we kill off probably the most expensive actor in the film, like right away, Tony Roberts. So shortly after this, the class bimbo, a girl named Tina, comes up there looking for the director, the professor, and kind of in her dialogue blatantly gives away that she's been sleeping with him for grades, and she wants a quickie right there behind the screen. And when she goes to kiss the professor, who is moving around, his face gets stuck to her face and peels right off. The professor rips off the mask, showing all this burned, horrified skin underneath. Must be Gates, right? Because he's all burned up, and Gates is supposed to be burned. So we see the burned man strangle Tina, kill her, and there's a bit of a humorous scene where he kind of plays ventriloquist with her corpse to lure off Maggie. There's a lot of funny stuff in this movie too. It is kind of a horror comedy. Shortly after this, we get yet another murder around the time the second film is starring the amazing Electrified Man. And by the way, all three of these movies are totally fictitious, as of course is Possessor. But going through the casting and the writing and just the shit they did for these fake movies are really kind of a trip. Really kind of elevate the movie for me on a personal level. And there's lots of people yelling at the screen random lines. Like there's a scene where a woman goes, "Kiss me, dick," and here a guy goes, "Kiss your what?" That kind of stuff. But a kid and one of the film school students who's running the buzzers for the Electrified Man bit, he's alone. He's in a wheelchair, and the killer comes in there dressed like Tina now, like he was dressed as Davis a few minutes ago, hooks him up, And tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. Sets down a tape recorder, plays a voice of a creepy man telling this guy the rules of the game, of the death game that he's hooked up to. No. Saw never saw this movie. Just like they never saw Mad Max either, I'm sure. So he's hooked up to this thing, and he's electrified, and he's killed. Yet another dead kid. This death causes a blackout, and it's around this time that our heroes, or the remaining film school students, are certainly starting to suspect something is wrong. And they all get separated. Now, while they're all getting separated, our main girl, Maggie, starts finding the dead bodies, and gets separated and realizes, and the thing is, it's about 15 minutes or so into this film, and she's going into her final circuit sequence. Well, there's a good 40 minutes left of the movie. Why are we doing this so early? Because really, the twist is really cool, and it's about to happen. So we get to the twist. She gets alone with Toby, who is one of the, another one of the film students, and they go down into this basement, and boom. He got her. I said this part where we get absolutely the fucking wheat of this goddamn movie. Tom Villard plays Toby, and he reveals his whole plan. What a performance. Okay. What's going on is his mother was part of Gates' film cult, and when the fire spread, when the woman that she thinks, Maggie, her real name is Sarah, the woman that Maggie thinks is her mother, saved her life, but not till after Gates had murdered her mother, saved her, shot Gates, burnt the theater down, but one of the cult followers was Toby's mother. Toby's mother was killed in the fire, and Toby virtually lost all of his skin in the fire. He is utterly insane. He has become a master of disguise, and he blames Sarah, or Maggie, for his mother's death. This whole thing has been out of vengeance, has been out of hatred, and has been premeditated for 15 years. And the fucking performance Tom Villard delivers here as Toby. I mean, you just see this guy swinging for the fucking fences with every single take. He knows what's going down. He knows what's up here. But he knows this is an opportunity. You just see that in the actor's eyes. Just making the absolute most of everything he's given in this movie. And just inspiring performance. He really is great in the film. It's a damn shame the movie didn't make more money, so we could have more movies with Toby No Face. After revealing his plan and revealing that the mom is still alive, Suzanne, her aunt, he goes off to kill one more. He goes off to kill another one of the kids. A film school. A great Darkman-like scene, guys looking at each other and they get into a fight. He ends up killing the kid with, some kind of super poisonous fucking cherry bomb in the bathroom. It's fucking stupid. And isn't able to bring himself to kill one of the film school girls, because while he's sneaking up to kill her, dressed as the guy he just killed, she talks about how she's always had a thing for Toby, and Toby's so thrown off about it. He goes and screams and freaks out about it in his lair later, just, I have my own problems here. It was great. So now it's come to Toby's big plan. The final film, The Stench, has stopped dead in its tracks. The curtain raises up, and there's Toby on stage, pure burned face, couple of little prosthetics like a fake nose and chin shit, just creepy looking shit. Great makeup effects in this movie, by the way. He's got the girl drugged, and then an Iron Maiden. He's got the aunt and a full body cast. And the crowd thinks it's part of the show that went to a horror festival. And he's building up, counting down from 30, gonna stab her in the heart at the stroke of midnight. And the girl's boyfriend, who's been a bumbling buffoon, literally virtually kicking his own ass this whole movie. Fucking running into walls, falling downstairs, getting stepped on, getting his ass bit by a dog, getting knocked the fuck out by big dudes. He spent this whole movie getting his ass handed to him, has gone to Toby's house to look for Maggie because he couldn't find Maggie and Toby, has found Toby's all crazy psycho shit, figured out he's the killer, and has rushed back to the theater. He's getting there right when they're counting down. They're running out of time. He throws his jacket over the wire that the Mosquito was hooked to, slides down but doesn't go anywhere near the stage because he's a fucking idiot. But he breaks the wire, fucks up the thing, which is already damaged from the sequence earlier. It swings down, impales Toby, electrocuting him at the same time. The crowd cheers as the bad guy dies. The movie ends with the cops taking away the bodies and our loving couple hug. I love this movie. I loved fucking Popcorn. I'm going to try to wrap it up here because I talked a lot. This is a movie you probably never even saw. But oh my god, I love Popcorn. Just it's celebration of everything we've seen in horror from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. This is a celebration of 4 decades of horror movies in one film. It very much reminded of, like I said, Scream and Saw, just because of like little details and stuff. But you know, just even The Cabin in the Woods, as in this kind of concept of trying to make a horror movie that experienced veteran horror fans are gonna enjoy, you know, by taking stabs at the tropes in the genre, but at the same time making something that's just legit and pure at the same time. I recommend anybody to see this movie. I know a lot of the acting is super hokey, and some of the dialogue is obviously overdubbed, but Tom Villard is amazing in this. It's one of I don't want to say he's one of my all-time favorite horror villains, but it's like, it's so great too. It's a movie I always liked. I liked it when I was a kid when I first saw it, when it first came out on VHS. And I really liked it. I think I saw it about 10 years later when I was in high school. But I haven't seen it maybe 20 years. And it just grabbed me. But just randomly, I was thinking about what might I want to watch. It's always kind of been in the back of my mind. I never forgot about Popcorn. But it was great to go back to it, great to revisit, and great to watch it with my oldest daughter, who occasionally likes to watch horror movies. She really enjoyed this one, and she actually came up with the name of Toby No Face, which I like. That was hers. Wanted to tell y'all that. Anyhow, hope y'all liked this video. Hope y'all liked Popcorn. Hope you go check it out if you've never seen it. Like I said, it's available. Not the best print in the world, but there is a print available. There is a watchable print available for free on YouTube, but I would recommend trying to get a hold of an actual print of it. Anyhow, like, share, subscribe. I'm going to start working pretty soon on my best of the years. And if y'all got suggestions, what were some of your favorite movies of the year, let me know. Anyhow, I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly.